Well, hi everybody, and welcome back to video number 4 in our overview for Moodle 2.5. We are in Video Base 1 and we were in editing settings in our last section, so let's return to the left hand side of the page, give that a click, and we had looked at a couple of items. Let's scroll on down to File and Uploads. Give it a click and you see the maximum upload size is 1 gigabyte. Now we gave that to professors in case you had a big class you needed to be bringing in. For students, I'm going to recommend you kick that down to 10 megabytes depending upon the type of course you're teaching. Word of advice, if you have big files, especially something approaching a gigabyte, that is your maximum course capacity. So I would recommend parking like a big video or a big graphic file over on the media server with our good friend Jeremy Kettleson in Media Services. Completion tracking, give that a click. You turn it on, that sets things up in assignments where you can allow the student to mark an assignment or activity complete based on criteria you set. Guest access, if we click that, you can allow a person guest access to your course who's not enrolled. They have very limited power, and this is not suitable for example, a guest professor or a visiting lecturer who's going to present to your class. Give us a call at 3633 and we'll show you how to do that. Groups are very seldom set at the front page. Groups are both separate. As we click, we see separate groups and visible groups. Separate groups are invisible to each other. A visible group will see what the other group is posting but not be able to interact with it. This can be very useful if you're teaching a meta course. And a meta course is, for example, many of the English professors who have several sections of English 100, instead of creating 4 separate courses, they'll create one course and add all the students to them. That would be a use of grouping at this level. You can also do it inside the class. We'll get to that in a few minutes. And let's scroll all the way up to the top of the page, and where it says Moodle requests, use the drop down and there is MetaCourse. If you go to that site and log in, you'll get more information on how to create a MetaCourse. Let us choose cancel, because we're not going to make any major changes, and let's go to Users. Users is right under Edit Settings. Give it a click. Lots going on there. In fact, if you notice, there's groups. This is how you can set up groups individually instead of course-wide. Where it says Enrolled Users, let's give it a click. I get a lot of calls on this. How do I add Professor Bill to be a team teacher, or how do I add Student Bill to be a TA to my class? Let's make it clear. If PeopleSoft or the registrar puts someone in your class, only by dropping or being formally removed from that class will they drop off this roster. All of these you see on this screen are manually enrolled, which is what I'm showing you now, and they can be added or removed. At the upper right hand corner and at the bottom of your list of students, which is not many here, but on a big page it can be useful, we have the Enroll Users button. Yes, it's misspelled. That's how they do it in Australia. I'm sorry. At the top of the Enroll Users, it says Assign Role. There's a drop down. You can make a person an instructor. Non-editing instructor is like a TA. Student is pretty self-explanatory, and librarians can do everything an instructor can do except see the gradebook. This allows you to bring in a librarian to assist you with your class. Once you determine the role, and we're going to select student, you need to put in the exact name, and I'm just going to type in Smith and press enter, and notice right here at the top there are 2 Aaron Smiths. You have to be very careful of spelling. That's why it's a good idea when you're adding someone to make sure you have their HSUID, ABC123, or in this case we notice the Aaron Smiths are different by their student ID number. Once we take that person's name and say, yep, that's who we want, we select Enroll, come down to the bottom of the page and choose Finish Enrolling Users. I'm not going to put anybody in here but that's how it works. Yes, you can do multiple entries. For example, you could add 4 students at once and a TA at the very same time. Be sure to select the correct role. I'm listed as an instructor. As you head towards groups, and this is real hard to see, but there it is. If you float your mouse over it, it's a little plus. You can assign additional roles. Now, you could add me as a non-editing instructor, a student, or a librarian. There's an additional role, I'm going to close this, that can be used. These are students who need extra time. We have to do this for you because we have to work with the SDRC to make sure things are done correctly. But this is how, for example, if you have a student who needs extra time on an exam, you'd get that taken care of. Come back to our main Video 1 page, and that's going to click. We're going to select users one more time. Enrollment methods you're not going to need. Groups, if you give it a click, I promised you we'd look at it. You can auto create a group. You can create groups specifically, for example, red group, green group, field study group, a laboratory group, and then from the right hand column you can add or remove users to those groups. Once that's done, you can change the group settings and add students to them. We're going to spend more time on that in our next video, so come on back. Thanks for watching.